Hey everybody, it's a Doctor here with Typical Manga Fan, and this episode of the Typical Manga Review is dedicated to Bleach, Chapter 650, the Theata Suicide, Scene 4. And we pretty much pick up from where we left off, where Lilibaro was decapitated, where despite going Bankai first, Lilibaro is still up and running, he's still fighting, and apparently he grows another head, which turns into Tweety Bird.
You know, I just realized something. So even though Panita was the first elite guard we kind of saw the full fight to, I mean, I don't think Panita is technically part of the. He doesn't have a Volst ending, right? He's not. He's a Quincy, but at the same time, he's also different than these guys.
Yeah, but go ahead.
But I think so. Maybe this is a possibility that this is like a segunda etapa, like all the elite guard have a second stage.
Possible. Frankly, one thing I was noticing after like kind of reading forums here and there is like I'm wondering if we're not going to see like a five senses thing going with the Royal Guard. We have touch with Pernita, we have sight with this guy. I think what made me think was someone mentioned like taste with Askin because of his dosage power. I don't know. That might be a time will tell kind of thing.
Okay, what's left? That's sight. We already got sight. What was smell?
Hearing and smell. Yeah.
Hearing, smell. So who the hell does? So I guess Thor is hearing.
Well, he's certainly loud enough.
And who the hell smells? Hashwald?
That'd probably be Hashwald in that case.
Yeah. Also, so we got Mega Ultra Chicken as our new antagonist.
Yep. I saw one thing referred to as Alkius, where was I? Yeah, creator of all knockoff Pokemon.
Yeah. A lot of people are making Avatar jokes. A lot of reviewers are doing that because
the blue avatars.
No, the Avatar: The Last Airbender, because of the one tie show, whatever. The owl in the library.
The spirit world creatures, yeah.
Yeah, that asshole. But no, specifically that owl.
Frankly, when we get the first look at his face on the titles page, like my first thought went to Tweety Bird, and now I'm reading all of his dialogue in a Tweety Bird voice.
I just started laughing my ass off because we get just weird ass like rant like stuff, you know. But
like
the whole point of
one of the inputs are like you could at least have him like maybe develop a Y-axis power so that his attacks look like crosses and stick with an established theme. But no, we get a Pokemon.
But the reason why it's supposed to be grotesque, as is pointed out, is because again, these guys are false angels, and this is something that a lot of the comment section doesn't get. Is like they're like, oh, these guys are supposed to be angels. No. They're supposed to think they're angels. They're supposed to be, but come on, these guys are like Nazis. They kill people. They don't care. They're obviously devils, like demons. So they're basically like false angels. You know, that's why they have this first stage where they're all like beautiful and pretty and shit. But the moment they actually reveal the true power, it's always grotesque every single time. And the reason why is because that's their true form. The grotesque that from inside them has revealed itself. And that is the point. And that's actually one of the main themes I actually do like about Kubo. Like, no, these guys think they're all like the great, you know, the holy, the purification. No, they're like Nazis. They think they're the best, but in reality, they're the worst.
Mm-hmm.
The Nazi thing makes sense.
There's also some weird uneven blinking thing going.
Yeah.
Like, and then we get a little bit of a monologue with him. Yes, that's it. That is despair. Kyoraku Sensui. Weapons cannot kill me. Even getting my throat cut by Reiatsu is not enough to kill me. I'm getting Tweety Bird voice. I can't do a Tweety Bird voice very well, but bear with me. All you heavy Sinnohs need but glance at my majesty and cower in despair. For I am immortal. I am invincible. I am God's instrument of divine privilege. For all you sinners, you shall be reduced to oblivion before me.
Yeah, and he does this really big like slash that like cuts like part of the floating island. And then Kyoraku hides behind the tower because at this point he's basically running away. Yeah. And then
Tweety borrows her prize, even has the power to even still run away from his quote unquote divine light of punishment.
Well, he's the freaking Captain Commander, whatever. He can at least he can run away well. But so yeah, he's kind of monologuing about how powerful he is and how how deep the sin in the Captain Commander is, all that holy bullshit, you know.
Then we get the Sora talking, and here's this thing on here. So, is Sakura Nosuke, is that supposed to be Kyoraku? Because it sounds like he says.
Yeah,
okay, because I thought they were referring to the girl as Sakura Nosuke, but that's like a male name. So I was like, wait.
What she's basically calling him is she's calling him Cherry Blossom Boy,
which works with his kimono design. Okay, because
the Suke is the boy part, the masculine part. So
right.
So she's just calling him nickname, I think.
Yeah, and on that note, in the Viz version of this chapter, in the Monk's version he was calling her My Flower, and the other one in the Viz version he was calling her Ohana, like an actual proper name.
Yeah, Ohana. I forgot. There was someone who explained the Ohana, but it's basically
It means
like
we never leave family behind.
something like that. So yeah, he considers her family, possibly that romantically. It's okay. This is freaking weird. It's a freaking sword. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. It's like she says that they run because he's immune to the power. They have nothing left to fight with, and he's already pushed himself to the brink to the point he's pretty much out of it.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, even if you run away, like no one will hold it against you.
Well, it's kind of weird. It's like she tells him that she deserves some well-earned sleep, and then she's like, "Let me take over now," which is weird because she can take over. Like, she can possess him.
I don't know. Maybe she might mean maybe like get him away from there. I don't know. Of course,
that's weird. Just let me take over now. It's like I was interested. Like, what does she mean by that? Like, does she actually take control of his body, or what?
And it becomes a moot point in any case because this is when the now shows up.
Yeah. At first, I'm just like, this is bullshit. She's a lieutenant. How can she do it? What can she do in this situation,
And apparently she can't do anything because she needs him to give her Zanpakuto.
And this is where I'm just like, wait, what?
Yeah,
he has his Zanpakuto. What?
Yeah, and then she also apparently on the problems with her mother, who we don't know, but my first thought would go to, like, what was it, Lisa, Risa? I mean, not
I don't think it's...
Wait. May not be by blood. In which case, it's possible.
I don't think Lisa is her mom. I think it's supposed to be a tragic, like a tragedy. So it's supposed to be, I think, a different character.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point right there.
I'm very confident it's not Lisa. Very confident.
Okay, yeah, you actually make a good point with that. I didn't think about the tragedy angle in there.
Yeah. Because keep in mind, this is all about the cherry blossom. She mentioned that his Zanpakuto mentioned that his cherry blossom coat was made by another woman. I'm guessing it's Nao's mom.
Yeah. Of course, and at this point, like, Tweety Barrow returns, like, things are getting rather boisterous over here, aren't they? So the aid has returned, has he? And after all the trouble the captain went through to help you escape, you must truly not value your wife, do you? Now that is truly a great sin.
It's funny that you just said your wife. Your wife.
Yeah. And at the point, he says the word lunatic and shit gets real.
Yeah, so... They basically they go hide in the shadow, using his shadow powers, and so Kirikou basically explains, like, he begins to talk, saying, "So you knew about your mother?" And then Nanao's response that she did, all this time, and then he says, "Well, cat's out of the bag now, and we got no other options left, so I'll give it back. Your Zanpakuto, Kyokotsu," which is okay. This is where the big like plot twist comes in, because it turns out.
Want to wonder now. Actually, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just like, have we ever seen Nana with her Zanpakuto before now?
Yes. The wiki says that at least the sealed version, but I think that might have just been a normal sword, kind of like Stark, how he did have a normal sword with him, but it wasn't actually his Zanpakuto.
Yeah. Okay, I interrupted you there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So here's the interesting part. I mean, now we basically get an explanation for why Kirikou has two swords. Mm-hmm. The second sword apparently is not even his. Although, here's the weird part. So this design has appeared in the filler arcs along with the other one. Hence why I was able to call out, remember, and say like, this girl will come out next chapter. So hey, I called it. And she, look, if you look at her face, she basically the face is basically covering everything that the other one isn't. Like, so the only thing that's visible is the right eye. But what's interesting is that this is not supposed to be his Zanpakuto, yet there's still a clear relationship between them. Like, the swords look exactly the same, and the Zanpakuto spirit is I guess the term is antagonistic, or to the other Zanpakuto spirit. As in their opposites in terms of, at least in design,
right,
and personality, from what I can see.
Well, antagonistic would mean that they actually actively dislike each other.
No, I think I don't know. I feel like antagonistic is still
foil.
No, I think it still works in this sense. Homologous. I think maybe the term
analogous.
Oh, analogous. There you go. That's what I'm looking at. Analogous.
Okay.
Analogous. There you go. I think that's right. Yeah, analogous. So they're like opposites in terms of appearance, at least, and from the filler arcs, personality as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is really confusing, which makes me think, is the now Kiriku's daughter?
I mean, it would definitely be a good link on there. I mean, of course, it sounds like even though Nana knows about her mother, maybe she doesn't know about that part, but then again, maybe she does.
Well, it's clear. Yeah, it's clear that Kyoraku had a thing. Well, at least implied that Kyoraku had a thing with her mom.
Right.
So I'm assuming she's like an illegitimate daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Something.
And they probably kept that. Chances are, I would imagine them maybe. Well, my first thought was maybe they keep that kind of thing quiet, but then again, it doesn't seem like blood relations among the soul reapers is that vital, just because of how the whole thing with Seirei seems to work.
Yeah.
Like,
but,
for example, Hitsugaya and what's the Rangiku basically kind of adopted each other.
Wait! I just realized something. Remember how much Byakuya talked about how he married an outsider and how that was so much of a that was a problem?
You're right. So they will probably do put more stock in that.
Yeah.
You're right.
So yeah. But yeah, I mean. Yes, I mean, it would only make sense because why would the Zanpakuto spirit be so you say the word, please.
Analogous.
I got it right. Analogous to the other one, you know. There has to be more of a relationship than just he happened to, you know, be safekeeping the spirit. You know, it's the sword. It looks exactly the same as the other sword, mm-hmm. and the spirit looks basically as if she was related to the other spirit. So. First off, how is he able to do that? How is he able to basically use someone else's spirit? The only one who's ever done that was Tosen. You know, you can also argue that Kenpachi technically did that, but he did that in a different way.
Oh, have you ever heard of a theory that Yatiru is actually the spirit of his Zanpakuto?
Yeah, I've heard that theory a million times.
Okay, I only recently come across it, but go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and also, I think her Zanpakuto's name is based. She shares the same name, right? Kyokotsu. Mm-hmm. Isn't the other one called Second Kyoto or something like that? Katen Kyoto.
Thanks.
Yeah. The other Zanpakuto spirit is called Katen Kyotsu, and this one's called Kyotsu. So Kyokotsu. I mean Kyokotsu. Yeah. So the only difference is that there's one with the katen in front of it. So yeah, again, still a relationship. Not to mention. How did he come to take away? How do you come to the position of taking away her spirit? You know, how does she view that? If she supposedly didn't know before, what kind of excuse did he say, like to take away her Zanpakuto spirit? Like, you know, what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I said the father-daughter link could be a good choice on there. What I'm wondering is why he has it in the first place. Like, why was it taken away from her to begin with? And the only really obvious one, especially in this context, is that it may be a very powerful sword bankai or whatever. Maybe she got it like when she was like really young and she couldn't probably control it.
She got a bankai when she was like 10? Holy shit, she even beat Ichigo back there.
And like I said, I don't know how possible that would be, but I could see it as a possibility. Like, just like, not necessarily at 10, but at least young enough that she couldn't properly maintain or control or anything like that. Because the whole idea of a bankai is you exert your will on there.
Well, first off, there's a couple questions we need to have to answer. One, what was the promise to her mom? Two, as I said before, it's clear that he took it. He took the spirit away from her, but he used an excuse because she didn't know the full truth, or at least didn't seem to know the full truth back then. Yeah. So he would have had to tell her a lie about taking away her powers. You know, so. I'm assuming that it's something around the thing of like her mom wanted her to keep her safe or something like that. But at the same time, you having her as a lieutenant, which I guess that it allows you to keep a watch on her. But at the same time, you're still putting her in harm's way in a way if you think about it. Because that was the whole thing with Byakuya. That's why he never promoted Rukia. Because if she was promoted, she would basically go on more dangerous missions. But then again, that actually brings me back to something interesting. Remember how hell-bent he was on bringing Nanao to the first division when he got promoted, and all in the Central 46 was all pissed off, saying like that's not like, you know, that's against the rules.
Right.
Remember, he's like, I want to be like the co-lieutenant or something like that, and he's like what? And just like, yeah, you know, got a problem with that. And so at first I was just like, oh, it's obviously because he finds her to be compatible with his style. At the same time, maybe it's now that with this new information, maybe it's to keep a closer watch on her, making sure that he does keep his promise to her mother, which is that he protect her or something like that.
Yeah.
But here's also interesting is that it's kind of. Do you think it's kind of similar to the Stark thing where, you know, the quote unquote lieutenant or the fraction of the Espada is actually like the secret to like unleashing his full power? Maybe it's something like this too.
Quite possible. I mean, it seems like it's going the other direction in that case. Like, it's key to releasing the other one's full power, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was somewhat, but it's similar. Like, it reminds you of the other one. It's also interesting that they fought against each other. But here's the thing, though. Now, obviously, it's going to be a lot more powerful with the Zanpakuto, but is she going to be that much more powerful? Is she going to be so powerful that she actually surpasses captain status? Because remember that when she was in the presence of Yamamoto, she could barely breathe. So she didn't exactly have that much spiritual pressure, at least without the Zanpakuto.
Right.
And we have to remind ourselves that even without Zanpakuto, captains have shown to prove that they can still last a long time without it. I mean, Yamamoto basically bulldozed through like a bunch of what was that guy's name? Wonder Weiss. Wonder Weiss. He like destroyed Wonder Weiss with just his fists. I mean, so captains and captains use Keto too. So captains, even without their Zanpakuto spirits, have always been able to show immense spiritual pressure in Ryatsu. So again, it just makes me think, like, how is she gonna last? Does having a Zanpakuto spirit really make her change that much? If so, that seems kind of like an ass pull, because I feel like you're making captain status kind of cheap. If all the lieutenant needs to do is get one power up, and suddenly she's like the strongest captain ever, you know? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, I get that. As much as I kind of hated it to happen. I mean, Rukia getting the Bankai was kind of predicted.
Right.
But at the same time,
and with her, at least it feels like a natural extension.
Kind of, but I mean, they made a point about how while she was powerful, she wasn't that powerful like Renji. Mm-hmm. And again, it didn't make any sense for her to go through the exception of having a Bankai in 3 days, because they made the whole point that it takes 100 years or something like that.
Well, she could have been training in the meat throughout her life as a Reaper. I mean, we don't know when they start doing that. Didn't we see once Rankiku like trying to commune with her sword towards that end?
It didn't work.
Doesn't mean she wasn't trying to do it.
Yeah, but I think, well, I don't know. I remember Byaga talking about how like it's really rare, and they point out that Rukia was a good Shinigami, but she wasn't that powerful. That's why she didn't get to the advanced class. Remember, Renji got there. So when Renji did it,
Byakuya hold her back though?
No, he held her back from getting promoted. In terms of the advanced class, that was because she wasn't as good as Renji or anyone else from the advanced class. She wasn't a naturally talented Soul Reaper. She was or Shinigami. She was just good, and that's it. Like that. She was always lieutenant level. She never showed captain level status. That type of power. Okay. So, which is why I thought it was kind of annoying that she kind of just skipped through the whole process. Not to mention that once you do unleash a Bankai, you're supposed to have to go through this entire phase of training. So they skipped that too. I mean, again, Ichigo cheated, and they made a point to say that no, Ichigo cheated, but he's the main character, so we'll let him slide. And
And it's been a consistent thing with Ichigo anyway. He always learns his stuff way too fast.
Yeah. So, but it was kind of annoying when it happened to Rukia. At the same time, though, it was kind of expected, because if you really want to keep it relevant, you're gonna have to do that. But with the now, I was kind of like, no, I think you're going a little insane for the because now we have Hisaki having his Bankai, which I believe, because Hisaki was always like top of one of the better Shinigami, so I believe Hisaki getting his Bankai. I don't.
We've also had a trend where this has already happened with not Nemu, not necessarily with the Bankai, just with her coming and being like super powerful.
Yeah, but that didn't turn out so well.
Which makes me worry about now that you mentioned that.
Well, I don't think she's going to explode.
Yeah. But still, I think we are seeing... I wonder if we're going to see a trend here, like where the captain starts the fight, but the lieutenant finishes it.
Maybe. By the way, when this fight first started, did anything go in your mind... Did it ever come to mind that a sniper would turn into a chicken?
Nope.
Because this is supposed to be a sniper, right?
Yeah, because like I said, one of the descriptions I saw in the All-In Park one was like, described the first form, the Skate's wannabe form, as a teleporting burrito with cheese wings. Then he transformed into some freakish owl snake monster when decapitated.
Yeah, I think Kubo forgot the fact that this guy's supposed to be a sniper.
Yeah, and if you're gonna turn him into a bird, why not turn him into an eagle or something like that? Something known for its eyesight.
Yeah. Maybe it is eagle. He's just really bad at drawing it.
They say owl, which I guess is important.
Oh, did they say owl?
Well, I don't know about on here, but I know the owl's a common reference, like you yourself said.
Yeah, the owl reference.
Of course, while owls are known for eyesight, that's not like their trademark thing. Their trademark thing is supposed to be like wisdom and such, which religious zealots are not known for.
Well, what's clear is that this guy This guy is obviously way out of his mind.
Oh yeah, he's like Ohm from One Piece. One of the
Yeah.
Skypiea priests, the one Zoro fought.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know. By the way, side fact. This transformation actually made me think that the Zanpakuto spirit for Yamamoto is a phoenix.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking. Yeah.
Makes you wonder now if he'll come back. Now, if it's a phoenix, will it affect his ability to come back from the dead? Maybe.
Possibly. Well, I mean, remember that he did have a resurrection technique where he could resurrect people who he killed.
Well, that's more
Kind
a zombie apocalypse than resurrection.
Well, kind of. But yeah, I mean, the reason why I thought that was one because of the Mega Ultra Chicken, and two because we were talking about Zanpakuto spirits in this chapter. So it's kind of like, hey, Zanpakuto spirit. I wonder if it's a phoenix. Just little side thought. But yeah, I in terms of what's going to happen next chapter, I mean, look, as much as I love for women to finally get a shot to do something big and not
Bleach?
blow up in Bleach and not blow up by the end of the fight,
That's just not going to happen.
I just it's gonna happen. It's just this is a bad time to be doing it because now is never shown to be that powerful, and it's in fact she's shown to be specifically lieutenant status. So giving her this sword back, if that suddenly makes her like higher than captain status.
Well,
remember this is a guy who basically made Kiraku go on the run after unleashing his Bankai, and keep in mind Kiraku is one of the stronger captains. He's one of the strongest captains. And definitely intelligent enough to become captain commander.
Well, I'm sure we'll get a page or two of exposition explaining just why this is going to work out that way next week, though.
But doesn't it feel kind of an asshole? Or is it Deus Ex Machina? Doesn't it feel like that?
Yes,
right?
Yes to both.
Yeah, it does, right? And that's my problem. It feels kind of like I don't feel like this is the way it should be going, but okay. I mean, look, I love for now to finally do something big. She's shined occasionally, but I mean. Again, you gotta be consistent with what you've shown of her, like from previous arcs, where she's powerful, but she's a lieutenant, so she's not that powerful, and she hasn't shown to be like Hisagi or Ikaku or as in now Rukia or specifically, or actually better example, Renji, where they're lieutenants, but they're clearly able to become, use Bankai and become captain class. Nanao is like one of those characters who's kind of like, well, we know her, we know what she is, we know her role, so her, becoming more powerful than Kyoraku. Who it just doesn't feel right. It's not because she's a woman. It's not because of a character. It's just the way they've written her. It just doesn't flow as well. If we get a random power up that suddenly makes them stronger than the captain. I mean, we always make fun of how the power levels go crazy, but at the same time, like it's if you want to make it all serious and shit like this, it has to be somewhat consistent. We get it. Quincy's powerful, okay, but well at this time, I don't
really,
want to make.
Yeah, really, the power can be all over the place.
It seems to be like it's all over the place. I think that's the problem. It's not that the power levels are going too high. It's that it's not being consistent. It seems like this guy, this guy who's so powerful, and then another guy's so powerful, and this person who's supposed to be really weak suddenly gets a jump that makes them 10 times more powerful. I feel like. If there's gonna be another more powerful character, it should be someone who's already somewhat powerful, and then he gets a power up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like when power ups are given, I feel that they should become stronger, but not enough so that it seems like they just skipped like 200 chapters worth of like effort. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, Ichigo took 500 chapters to get this far. Now will basically come across the same amount of power in like a chapter.
Well, it's possible. Like I said, the whole point seemed to be suggesting that she had it before and it was taken away from her. So that part wouldn't bug me too much.
But at the same time, it also comes. It was never hinted at that she had this potential. With the Yachiru thing, at least with that theory, it kind of, you can argue it's been there for a long time. How she suddenly came out of nowhere. How a random girl just suddenly came out and survived the 18th district. How she was able to. Why she has such spiritual connection. Has such a powerful spiritual energy, and why she's always with Kenpachi. Like, it makes sense. People can make the argument. With now, there has been no clue, no hint, no implication. And without implication, without any hint, it's not foreshadowing. It's an ass pull.
Yep.
So that's my problem. There we go.
Yeah, I said the difference. I think I said it to you before. Like, the difference between a plot twist and an ass pull is a plot twist. Even if you don't see it coming at the time, you can at least go back and see where it was set up.
Yeah, the Yachu thing, I buy that. I would buy that. I'm not completely. Well, actually, I'm like half sold on the idea. And one of the reasons why one of the reasons that's keeping me back from completely selling the idea is because Yachiru she wasn't like when because Kenpachi talked to his sword like that for that one scene right when he killed Unohana, and yet Yachiru was somewhere else, so it just kind of felt weird. That it felt like
if that theory is right that Yachiru is his spirit.
That's what I'm saying. That's the one thing that's preventing me from completely buying into the theory. But other than that, there are more. There's good evidence to state that is possible. So that is a legitimate theory out there. With the now becoming more powerful than at least as powerful as Kirikou, let's not. And even then, even if she is more powerful in terms of naturally, you still gotta control it. Isn't that if that's all supposed to be like the problem, right? She couldn't control it, or at least in your theory. So how can she control it now? She might kill everyone in sight. Who knows? Maybe that might happen.
Yeah, because there does seem to be a trend with these guys at the moment. Like Kiraku is like it's supposed to be like a little bit indiscriminate. Maybe hers is too.
Possibly. Although it's I don't know. It's interesting that her Zanpakuto spirit has appeared before. As one of Kiraku's other swords. But basically now we get the answer to why he has two swords.
Yep, because he actually does have two swords. Versus like one sword that just has a dual wield form, which I think is what Ukitake had, or at least
Ukitake is like his one sword becomes two in Shikai form, whereas with Kiraku it actually exists as two swords completely. Same thing with Ichigo, but Ichigo actually makes sense because his is supposed to represent his Shinigami and Quincy powers, which by the way he has not used yet in terms of the Quincy powers. So
well, he hasn't used any powers yet.
Well, he's used a little bit, but it's like I'm gonna make it an X Getsuka this time rather than just one Getsuka. So I make two Getsukas in a row. Done.
Double Getsukas.
Yeah, look how creative I am.
Seriously, I can add.
Kubo has some of those creative powers ever, and he managed to give Ichigo the one that bores the shit out of me. Really?
Yeah. This is why I think I recommended JoJo to you in the past, because like he does creative powers and creative uses.
Yeah.
Well, and you don't always get full explanation either, so some of it's left to be figured out.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I like Siren, because Siren actually does that. He learns his powers and uses it differently each time. So there you go. But yeah, I think that's about it from Bleach. We kind of talked a lot about that.
Well, for a given definition of we.
I guess.
Yeah. But like I said, we'll probably get a more detailed explanation for about 2-3 pages next week.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to make that an official bet right here. Like, official guess. 2 or 3 pages of exposition to explain why she's got the Zanpakuto the way it is.
Oh, dude. No, I think they're going to go on a whole flashback, dude. If he has a chance to extend, the
you
plot
probably are
more,
right.
why not do a flashback? Have the whole story. Make it be like 3 chapters or something. Make it so that the first chapter he meets her.
Wait,
the second chapter.
Next chapter. We get an introduction. He starts releasing the power. We get a flashback, and it ends on her power being released.
Yeah, but
no progress whatsoever.
Yeah, dude, that's a great way to do it. But I'm thinking of maybe if they do flashback, that's the first flashback is when he meets his mother. The second one is when he talks to the mother, and the third one is like when he makes the promise to her. So it's 3 chapters right there.
Yep.
Easy.
And it'll be like the Oswald Basby flashback. Only in this case, we might actually care about what's going on.
Kind of. I don't know.
Well, a little bit. I mean,
more than the other two.
Because we like Kyoraku in there now.
Yeah, but at this point, I just want to see Ichigo fight.
Well, we got time. We got at least 2 more elite guards, or 3 or so, before that'll happen. Depends on who ends up fighting Oswald, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's about it for Bleach this week.
Yep, that's it. Anything you want to add to our review? Go ahead and bring it on through.
Yeah.
I'm talking to listeners this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If y'all throw it in the comments, we'll try and get a reply out there, let you know what we think as well, or maybe bring it up next episode. This week we'll have Bleach, One Piece, and Inside Mari. Go ahead and take us away.
Bye!